I've a bike which is as American as cherry pie. It is the Harley Davidson Sportster. First introduced in 1957, it was America's answer to a flood of lightweight, super-fast British bikes that were dominating the US market. For $1,103, you got a 110 mile/hour bike with a large touring tank, front suspension, and for the first time, an integrated engine and gearbox. Since then, over the last 6 decades, there have been countless different types of Sportster, and remarkably, it's still being built today, making it one of the world's longest-running production models.
And this is the latest kind of entry-level incarnation, which is the 883 Iron. But you can choose from a plethora. There's the Custom there, there's the 1200, there's a Roadster over there, there's the balloon-tired 48. The choice is endless, but the Sportster dates back from 1957. In fact, you can trace back the lineage to 1929.
The great-granddaddy of the Sportster was the Harley Davidson Model D, the first Harley to feature a flathead V-twin engine. That engine morphed into the famous Ironhead V-twin, which was at the heart of every Harley Sportster from 1957 to 1986, when it was replaced by the aluminium engine we know and love today.
More about the heritage later, but right now it's about what this bike stands for and why, to me, it's a true icon.
And the best way to do that is show you how it rolls. I may be riding through Cotswold lanes, but get on this bike and every road is Route 66. Back in 1957, it delivered 40 brake horsepower straight out of the crate. Today's 67 brake horsepower engine comes as standard and will get you up to 130 miles an hour if you ever need it. Like all Harleys, it sounds utterly distinctive and utterly captivating. It's just that grin on your face that it gives you. If you got a kid to draw a motorbike, it would have 2 wheels, an engine, somewhere to put some fuel, and some handlebars. And that basically is what a Sportster is all about. It's that bare bones minimalism that kind of gets into a biker's soul. Before the Sportster, Harley was mainly known for its huge cruising bikes. The Sportster offered the brand a new dimension. Its speed and acceleration made it a race winner, but it's equally at home on short urban hops or country jaunts. Don't get me wrong, it's not the world's most elegant design, it's more supermarket than superbike. But how many other bikes have stayed in production for a full 61 years? Next up, I'm going to head down to London and take a look at some vintage Sportsters. And today, I'm going to have a look at some perfectly preserved historic models. Well, welcome to the King's Road here in Old London town, and we're continuing our look at the Harley Sportster. Time now for a little bit of heritage. Wars have been dealing in Harley Davidson since 1929. They've got everything from the latest bikes to the latest accessories. But pride of place goes to the vintage models. And to tell me more about them, I'm going to meet Mr. John Waugh, racer, collector and Harley aficionado since he popped out of the womb. Well, virtually. To see 2 1957 Sportsters in one place is something that I don't think I've ever seen before.
No, you don't see it really.
Mate, they are utterly beautiful. What astounds me straight away
is if you put that next to the modern custom version of the Sportster, I mean, not a lot's changed in what, 61 years?
No, not really. I mean, the silhouette is still the same, isn't it?
Yeah.
The style, the petrol tank, the little solo seat, you know, the 2-into-1 exhaust system.
Tell me why you think they're so enduring. I mean, what is it about the Sportster?
I mean, the Sport's such a nice bike to ride, number one, and of course it's got the V-twin engine. And the early ones like this 900cc, really peach of an engine.
Yeah.
You know, it's got that lovely V-twin beat to it. So there's that, and it's got that V8 type power delivery, so you don't have to work at it, it's there, away you go. But it's the styling, isn't it? You know, it just flows beautifully.
I'll tell you what, my belief is the reason why the Sportster's endured so long is its versatility. And also, the thing that people forget is its racing capability. Now look, through here, we've got a good examples of those, eh? Come on.
These two bikes are race winners. Number 25 is a 1968 KR1 in a specialised race frame. Number 3 is a slightly bigger XR.
This XR 750, something like that, you know, was winning races right up to 72, 73. I think they won the California Grand Prix.
And when it comes to racing, this photo on the stairwell is John himself in another life.
That was my chosen profession before I got a proper job, was racing bikes, you see. And that was a long time ago. The bike was an XR1000, and on short circuits, it had absolute massive heaps of grunt, and it would really hold its own, you know. Yeah. I didn't have to do much at all. Usually I'd fall off.
Well, you did, mate. Look, you're drifting it. I mean, unless you come in from the car park to join the melee.
No, we came from over there. It would go sideways all the time. But it was nice because it was a very long bike, so it was easy to do. And the handlebars were reasonably wide, so I just got into the habit of doing it.
This little beauty is a 1984 Sportster XLX, done out all Evel Knievel styling.
I remember seeing him jumping on a Sportster at Wembley. I was there as a kid.
Were you?
Yeah.
Were you there?
Yeah.
My wife was there, actually.
I didn't see it.
No, well, I hope you didn't, John. You know what I mean? Eh? But that is, to me, the coolest sled in here.
Yeah.
Hey? Now, look, right, to sum up. What do you think the future of the Sportster is?
It's a big seller, you know. The 1200, the 48 is such a big seller for us.
Is it?
And it appeals to new guys as well as old guys.
Whether it's racing or road use, versatility. 61 years later on, still has that.
Proof's in the pudding, isn't it? 60 years of production.
Quite extraordinary. Blimey, that's even older than me. Come on, mate, Tate.